Hi, Leo. So, things are weird, things are hard, and you have a lot of courage. You have a lot of understanding what it takes to do and pull through, hunt, whatever that is. Right now, the past couple months have been an emotional pull. There are things that you have in mind and have in store for yourself, yet there's this pull backwards, this in how you feel. And really, more than anything, this is about how you discipline the masculine side of yourself, how you want to put forth with the masculine side of yourself. We all have feminine and masculine sides. So Leo sun, Leo rising especially, and Leo moon, you could feel a deeper understanding for something that you didn't before. And I think the other two, you're learning that there's a part of yourself that when you are down or when something is pulling on you emotionally and you know you can do something about it, but you're just not ready to, you can almost place blame on yourself before you do it. But the truth is, more than anyone, you know that you need to nurture that side of yourself. You need to understand what it needs and give it that light that it needs, regardless of its actual sunlight. Maybe some of you really just need to get outside. You could be also from Aries season, like being carried over, Mars being in Pisces. There could be a lot of conversation around healing or around certain things that you just don't want to keep talking about. Some of you might just be feeling and having an experience of maybe appearing more harsh to others, but I think that draws you inside more this month in a way that's possibly beneficial for especially whatever it is that you are wanting to do. They fell a little too far, so hold on. All right, so what fell out was Knight of Wands, the Moon, and the Ace of Swords. So very, very clear. You will become very clear. There will be a moment, maybe around the eclipse, maybe it's already happened for some of you. But the moon being here, it seems like your energy is going to come back around that time. It's going to give you a burst of energy, and it's strongly suggesting you use it wisely. And I think that's what this time is about right now. Sometimes we have to understand that there are parts of ourselves that need more attention than we'd even like to give it. But the more attention you give that part of you, you realize that maybe there's been neglect on that side or a lack of taking care of that part of you that really needs, or a part of your past or whatever's coming back up again. Because a lot of people are experiencing, like, yes, there are cycles, big cycles that are ending and have ended. And yes, this is eclipse season, but it's with a deep understanding, like Taurus. It's this Taurus Scorpio axis where there's more of a depth to it. And sometimes you can be extremely uncomfortable with that. And yet it's so important, because with the depth comes with a deeper sense of self, becomes with a deeper sense of boundaries for where you need them, a deeper sense of understanding and compassion for others, where some of you may, either attack or just not know what to do with the moments unfolding. The best thing you could do is be inspired. For those of you who are creative, which most Leos are, regardless if it's around the home. I just told Taurus, I spent time with my partner, just like putting up things, moving around the home, doing things together. And even those moments just makes me feel so grateful and happy to have someone who wants to do those things with me. And even if it's something simple like that, doing things that, loving yourself, like, I don't know, something like right before it just came to me, I was like, what is wrong with really loving yourself right now? Because you need it. Like, there's something, love, and if that means loving what you're creating or creating more, or using this refreshing energy to do that, Temperance and Lovers and King of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, something great, a great idea is bound to come your way if it has not already. And you're going to want to play it out, and you're going to want to play it out right away. And I don't want to hold you back from that. Just make sure you see what's coming. a little bit farther. I know that you're not always supposed to do that and you're not someone who does do that all the time, but look at your consequences first. Also remember, being a fixed sign, that you can shift and you'll want to shift things more likely than not within this one thing that you're creating, regardless of what that looks like. Whether you're, however you do art, however you create your life, within this very broad general thing that you are creating, there are very specific details that need your attention, and this month is the time to do it, because sometimes what you don't realize is that is actually the meat of what carries forth this great idea. And if you do that and you allow yourself to be in the details this month, knowing that if it's coming up, it needs your attention, and maybe it needs you to do something you've been wanting to do for a while, learn something that you've been wanting to learn from a while, talk to someone. This moon can give you a sense of wanting to do something you haven't done in a while, or wanting to do something different, a little more spontaneous, a little bit more free. You've felt like a lot is building lately, and you need a little freedom. I feel it from you more than ever, and you need to give it to yourself, because something wants to come your way, something is ending, but it's without looking at those darker parts of ourselves or those insecurities. And I use those because they are real. They're very real. I have them. We all have them. It's just asking yourself what's more important. Yeah, having insecurities can be annoying, but you're someone who learns when expressing them, especially in the moment. Especially in times where you know that there are people who love you around you. And right now, that people is you. It's you. It's what you like, remembering that what you love loves you. And if it's not good for you, maybe asking that, if it's not good for me, to pull away. And in this eclipse that could happen, there's something that could really fall away from you. That could be this 5 of Cups energy. Because the 7 of Wands is like, I want to take care of this. I want to just like, what is this thing that keeps luring over me? And King of Swords is like, listen, I'm learning something here. And for some of you, there's someone right outside of you that can help you with this understanding. And then inspiration hits. It feels like it's going nowhere, but it's not. Even if whatever you're inspired by isn't what the idea is or comes from or even relates to, it's coming and it's here, and it's going to make everything worth it. It's going to make understanding this process more worth it, especially the one that connects with you spiritually and physically. This is huge spiritually for you. It's what connects you to yourself. It's what connects you to the strength to be the one in certain times, unafraid to say the thing that might sound one way to someone, one way to another person, but knowing that ultimately it's the way that you present it that makes it so appealing, that makes it so alluring. And in the second part, we'll get more into it, which will be in a Patreon link below, excuse me. And for now, it's about connecting with that. It's about loving that. It's about learning even deeper that part, that internal, external part of yourself, the part of you that needs a voice. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your voice. It can be through a modality. And I think you're really attuning to that part of yourself that is more sensitive, especially in a place where it's important for, and so majestic and beautiful when the one who's known to be a lion can even tame that part of yourself in a way that is so beautiful and so pure and so ease and with so much grace. And I'm not saying to change yourself. I'm just saying you're seeing this part of yourself emerge through something unfortunate, through something or a looming cycle. And there's nothing but great things from here. It's just having the strength to speak up for yourself, to change what fixed fire can. You're never like the bonfire. You're never without it if you find sticks and a way to light it up. And so if you can carry that with you, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, then you're always presenting a part of your authentic self. And you can take that however you want. That could be presented in many different ways. That could be presented like if you're an actress. That could be presented if you're just really great at what you do. If you're in a healing modality, if you are an artist in the painting sense or an interior design, like whatever you do, you put so much heart into it. And that's why when certain things happen, you can get so frustrated. But you know more than anything that when you're in it, it could be like clouds. But when you come out of it, there's just, the sun comes out. Today it is a cloudy day. But you know that the sun is still there. You know that the heat is still building. But sometimes you even, again, I've expressed to you this many times this past year, so even the sun has cloudy days, but it doesn't mean that it's not as strong. It's just those days where you need to take a pull back. And Taurus is teaching very deeply this year and this month that in order to connect with yourself and alchemize temperance, the past into the future, into what is now, lovers listening to what's around you, but also listening to this guidance that you've been being tapped on for a while. And it may be weird out here, but look to an Aquarian in your life and just understand that there's something they can show you, regardless if it's aesthetically pleasing to your eye or what you're used to. They have something to offer you. They have something to show you. There's a security also in the change that is happening in yourself and how you speak and how you present. You are always going to be you no matter what, and people are always going to be drawn to you. But now there's this understanding that you almost don't care. There's something about, in Taurus season, you can very much, your ego can be inflated, and that could be the victim, or to the extreme, the victim, or the person's always like, look at me, which is, or narcissistic, whatever. But this one kind of evens you out in a way that is so sensitizing to you that even if you're going to get attention this month, you really only want it from, first and foremost, yourself. It's a very much self month where you find yourself doing something differently, and it changes this, or brings out this side of you that you may have not seen in a while, or you always knew existed, but it always felt maybe too soft or fluffy or whatever that word is. But you know how to make it fire. You know how to make it have a spark to it. You know how to, put your own sense of self in no matter what you do. And I think that's something that you may come to and see for yourself this month more than ever, not just me telling you, but understanding that through how you decide to handle situations, how you decide to handle yourself, how you decide to use the energy and the ideas, and the understanding that this came from a place that didn't feel so good all the time, that this came from a place that almost felt cold. This came from winter into spring. This came from this time in my life where I now need to speak up or speak out or utilize my heart in a way that is more aligned with myself now, of who I am now, regardless of whatever I was or whatever I will be now. And again, I know I told you to think about the future, and now I'm coming back to think, just like be in that present. Well, because that's going to help you. Those different things are always intertwining and at play with each other. We'll get more into that in the second part as well. But there's this ease that falls over you towards the end of the month. It may not stay long, depending on how other transits hit you. But for most of you, you're going to feel this sense, and you're going to most likely want to continue to learn how to expand that and be with that more, because you are someone that is very, more than anything, secure in yourself. But when you're unsure of what's happening around you and in your environment, and you're not used to something and it's getting a little watery out here. There's lots of emotions. There's lots of, and not that you're someone to stray away from it, but there's a lot more cloudy days. There's a lot happening. You find this sense of self even more so prominent, and you kind of want to keep your light, keep that sunshine about you a little bit more intimate and private. Those things don't have to go hand in hand, but you want them to. There's this very spiritual thing happening this month, I think, more than ever for you. And I feel very confident that you're going to understand what that means. And it's going to come for some of you very materialistically and guide you. And it's just going to feel effortless. You know, when you just like something happens and you do it and then it feels effortless and you're like, oh shit, like here I am doing this thing, or here I am creating this thing, or here it is. Life's just like, hey, we want you to have this too. You're going to find that. You're going to find more ease in that, and you're going to remember so much, and be reminded so much about how your own warmth, how your own growth for yourself is enough. Yeah, other people love it. You love to let other people see it, but for yourself, it's just, there's just deeper connection, and it's really cool, and I'm happy for you. It's a beautiful reading, and not without strength and courage, not without the ability to be and express who you are, and remember that you can't avoid what keeps coming back, and you're willing to face it. And I think Taurus season gives you more strength to do so. And if there are different signs in here too, but for the most part, I think it's about just trusting that whatever has been or felt like a shadow or dark or tight or tightly wound, or however it is that you controlled your stress, that is something that you're now learning from in a different way, because you realized that whatever way you're doing it wasn't working. And that's the beauty about you. You take it and then you roll with it and you learn to do it. And and then it becomes part of your nature. So this month, at a little glance, part 2 will be on Patreon, a link below. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. And I will see you next month, Leo. I hope that you enjoy the beginning to the summer.